All right, we're going to continue our series of world leader readings. And right now I'm going to do Volodymyr Zelenskyy. And the way that I do these is I imagine that Zelenskyy sits down here at my table and asks me for a general reading. So we're going to do that right now. Oy. All right, let's see what's on either side of this temperance card. Okay. So the root card is the reversed judgment card. Now, the judgment card is about making or facing some final decision and then moving forward for better or worse. And when this thing gets turned upside down, it's usually about trying to avoid some final decision, right? So the root card here is just trying to avoid this final judgment. I guess all things considered, that makes sense. Now, the main card is the reverse temperance card, and it shows a lack of perspective and a lack of being able to blend two opposite things together. So, with the temperance card, instead of having these things that are very different and separate and being able to make them blend into one thing, this is like oil and water or whatever, where the two things just are not going to blend. And we can kind of get some insights as to what that is here. Now, the King of Wands is the ultimate leader. The King of Wands is like the father figure where they're not even telling people what to do. They're just being such a shining example of humanity that other people try to be like them. So the King of Wands is the role model, and it's setting the example for the people around you with your actions. And on the other side, we have this Eight of Swords, which is being trapped and filled with anxiety. Now, these two things can apparently not be blended. Like the pickle will say that he's in over here where he's trapped and filled with anxiety, and the world is trying to get him to do something drastic. That cannot be blended with the King of Wands, which is, being the role model and basically doing what he believes is the right thing to do. Okay, so let's see if there's any advice for blending these two or what to do since they cannot be blended. And we get a reverse moon. So the moon is about outside manipulation. The moon shows up when we are not being true to ourselves and we're allowing ourselves to be manipulated by other forces. When the moon gets turned upside down, it shows the manipulation being so fucking strong that you have to cut the strings, right? So the advice that the tarot is giving is to basically cut the strings of manipulation. I am going to pull one more just to see like where that manipulation is coming from. And the strength card is reversed, and this shows biting off more than he can chew. So, this also seems pretty clear considering everything that's happening. Uh, but it's essentially the assistance that he is getting that is causing the manipulation, and it's causing him to do things and make decisions that he wouldn't normally make. And here it looks like the advice is to sort of stop taking the help. So then you can do what you would actually want to do anyway. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the physical health of Mr. Zelenskyy. So he's like, "Hey, let's I was trying to do a Zelenskyy voice. He's like, "Hey, how am I doing? Let's see." So we get the Fool. The Fool is about being open to a brand new reality, like a brand new deal. The Fool is the beginning of a whole new chapter. So, as far as physically, this shows it's certainly not saying that anything is wrong, but it would definitely say be open to a new pattern, right? Now, let's look at spiritually. How's he doing? So we get the Chariot. That's interesting. There's a lot of fucking major arcanas in this reading, but let's just see where the Chariot is going. Um, so spiritually, I guess the advice here is to be very clear about your goals, right? And as long as he is clear about what he's trying to do, that kind of creates this sort of armor, spiritual armor. And there might be a fine line there when, someone develops spiritual armor with a goal that could be a zealot, right? But it looks like that is what would spiritually keep him protected as he is facing a situation where he's put on the spot and might not exactly know what he's doing. Like in the Seven of Swords, the jester, people are looking at him and he's like, well, I better do a trick because that's what jesters do. And he whips out the swords and he's not necessarily prepared. And this rope is about to break. And he might end up swallowing that sword the hard way. But here, just spiritually, it's saying, be clear about your goals and that will give you some sort of protection. Okay, now I'm going to collect these and let's just see if there's any other stuff that wants to come out here. Oh, we got one. All right, we get a 3 of Wands. And let's just see what this energy is, this slow growing energy. Huh. The Magician. Now that's interesting. So the 3 of Wands here is basically showing long, slow growth. But here, what's happening, these wands basically represent the genuine energy that is within someone. So this is the outer expression of who he really is on the inside. And it just takes nurturing and love. This is like motherly energy, right? And the thing that's being nurtured is the magician. This is the performer. And it is true that he is an actor and a comedian, but this, I think what this is saying is continue to nurture your performance aspect, like the performance things that you do. Now, I want to look at the presidency here just to see, like, after looking at those two cards, it might be the next phase of Zelensky's career, we'll say. So let's just see what comes up as far as the presidency goes. And once again, we get this reverse strength card. And this is basically having chosen a task that is too much. Normally, the advice that comes out when the strength card is reversed is number one, lessen your load. But also, if you do need help, ask for it. And that is also what shows up as the manipulation that is fucking everything up here. So this is quite the pickle. But it would basically say what he should really do is not try to do as much as he is trying to do. We've got one more that wants to come out here. And again, it's a reverse major arcana card. This is really something. If this was a person sitting down, with me at this table getting a reading with all of these reverse major arcanas, it would be like, you are not in control here. There are other forces that are in control of your life, and that's something that you should probably try to take back. But the reversed hanged man, this shows energy that is stuck, and it's like this is frozen in place, and I don't know what he could do other than like trying to get a different perspective or whatever. But I think he's dug himself into a pretty deep ditch, right? And this is kind of showing that. And boy, I don't know. I mean, the long and short of this would say that he's kind of screwed. But going back to the other thing, it's like keep nurturing the abilities that you have that are very unique to you. Let's just see, we had two that fell out onto the ground. And let's just see what they are. Yeah. Again, this is talking about kind of a new stage, I think. The Nine of Wands. Oh, we got the Devil down here. I'll just set that there. Reverse Devil. Oh, geez. But the Nine of Cups is showing so many possibilities that it's hard to know what the fuck is even going on. And here the Page of Pentacles is like an open-minded student. So there's some new thing that he can learn amongst many new things that he can learn. And if he were here sitting at this table for this reading, I would say it might be time for the next stage of your career. But that is what we have. And if there is a reading that you would like to see done, then hit up the Patreon page, and for as little as $5 a month, I will do your reading requests. That's what we have for now, and peace. Is this the end of days? Will lava fill the base? I'm gonna grab some tarot cards, let's see what they say. Who controls the press? Was Will Smith possessed? Let's shuffle up the cards and we'll see. And what about the freaking aliens? Whatever could they be? Let's ask the cards and see. Come on to my Patreon. It's only $5.